in the last month with minings under a little bit of pressure this month, as well as Naspers as well, taking a bit of pressure via the Chinese government pressure coming onto the likes of Tencent and so on. But all in all, a great performance as South Africa sort of comes to pick itself up off the bottom.
So you had JP Morgan listing 5 SA companies amongst their top 10 picks, at least in the MEA region. And those top picks are Sibanye, MTN, Capitec, Absa and Bidvest. Which one of those companies do you believe has a compelling investment case?
Well, I think they all are pretty decent cases. I think perhaps the one that might be quite interesting there is MTN. Obviously, under lockdown, there's been tremendous growth in usage of and adoption of both data and a more data-intensive way of working and living and playing. Ahead of that, I mean, MTN had invested massively in infrastructure in the last few years. It obviously cramped their profits initially, but it also meant that they're very well placed now that they have made that investment to convert it into cash flow, into growth. So to me, that seems a relatively easy investment case to make.
Right. So yesterday we had the OPEC Plus meeting and they couldn't agree. So there was a little bit of infighting and they went their separate ways. And everyone's hoping that by this afternoon they're going to come back and at least agree on some aspects of what they couldn't agree about. What is the impact for markets should OPEC Plus not be able to reach a decision?
Look, I guess it would be handy if we have some kind of lid on oil prices. I mean, after all, economies have still got some recovering to do, and although they're doing a nice job, I think some kind of oil shock would hardly be a positive development. I think it also reflects that a lot of OPEC economies, which are very dependent upon oil, have really been struggling for some time now, and so they're all putting their hand up, wanting the biggest possible part of the of the pie that they can possibly get. But I think the realization, of course, is that they would also want to continue to produce, because in the long term, perhaps their biggest competition is not each other, but in fact, green power.
All right, so Warwick, thank you so much for your time. That is Warwick Lucas, who is from Galileo Capital, taking us through the day's trading activity so far. And of course, there's a lot more that investors are looking out for. We're going to take